My name is Ali Bosios. I'm a fine artist and photographer residing in Gozo. My world is everything related to the arts, from cooking, clothing, interior design, painting, lino, sculpture. It really depends on what I'm trying to convey, basically. Recently I did a course also in interior design. I'm doing some DIY, keeping myself busy in these troubled times. I can either be inspired by everything or by nothing. And I go through very low lows and very high highs, and I've learned to embrace the unknown of the lows. And usually I come up with some really powerful work. Fairly recently, I've been working in regards of caricature, portraiture, but I don't have one set medium. It's like recently I worked on soundscapes. I felt I needed to convey more of an emotion which I couldn't put into paint or writing, so I'm open to any media really, but if I had to say a favorite, photography is one of my all-time favorites. Pen, watercolors, I do parchment also. So
you do a lot.
Yes, wide variety, yes. My creating process, a lot of coffee, cigarettes, unfortunately. Music helps me bring it all out, and just being a hermit really, and not being social at all. What makes me focused? A very tight deadline. No.
You do music as well?
Yes.
So you record music. Have you ever performed it, or?
I was asked to, but I shied away from it. And they told me this is actually some really interesting work. Very experimental, yes.
Okay. So what are you working on at the moment?
What am I working on at the moment? I'm working a lot with portraiture. And I'm being commissioned work. Like this I did to a very dear friend of mine. And I use the person itself, the individual itself. And I give it a sort of aesthetic of how I perceive this character. So my friend is really witchy. I think she's reincarnated from Salem, definitely. Like in this case, she lost her dog. And this is a memorial piece. Aesthetically, it's very tattoo-esque and very geometrical. Not really something I dabbled in, but I let it flow. I rarely sit down knowing my end result when it comes to my work. I also worked on individuals who are in the spotlight in the sense of either being singers or performers.
Michaela, yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a fellow artist also, and this was a headache with his tattoos. So I think this was a taste of my own medicine when I posed for other artists because of my ink myself. Me and my partner, we've got a page, Tahzizinka. It's more adapted to him because of his tattoo work, but I do put up some stuff, but I'm not really, I don't keep my social portfolio really updated. There would be like a hiatus of a couple of months, and then I would bombard with all the work I've done throughout those months, and then I will update it in say another year and a half probably. When COVID hit, I ended up jobless. I used to work in the kitchen, and obviously the catering sector took a really bad blow and they're still suffering. My heart goes out to all of them. So yeah, I ended up jobless at home. I went through like 6 dozen dark nights of the soul, wanting to produce work and not being able to. Rather than write in my blog, because I started a blog also in the meantime and did interior design course and started therapy courses also, I tried to fill my time with knowledge rather than whiling my time away watching Netflix and, I love Gozo. There's something really magical about it. There's something in the air. I can't really explain it. I keep getting pulled back to Gozo. My intention after my studies were to zip away and fly off and maybe see myself either in Holland, Germany, somewhere more a bit open-minded to a certain way of living. But when I came back to Gozo, I came really different from Malta. One, I wouldn't go back to Malta. It's mental. And I found my haven. How can I say? I am an acquired taste. So, like certain foods, not everyone eats it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Just like both.
Yes, esatto.
Orkini,
esatto. Orkini, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What I like about these individuals who approach me, they leave it up to me. And that is the artist's favorite sentence. All in your hands. Because they would be maybe seeing something, and then I obviously wouldn't be able to do that. So I just ask them a couple of questions like, what do you think about, should I include their actual tattoos or not, if they wanted more caricature, but mostly they leave it up to me, and that makes my day. My niece is a big inspiration for me. Every year I'm doing her birthday cards, and she also commissions works herself. Auntie, can you do this for me with a unicorn? So I've shown you a lot of color. I also love working in black and white also. This was a merge of interesting kids, and this is called Creepids. Yes, I love the play on words also, as for titles. Not for everyone, like I said. These are more fantastical, maybe to a certain extent, which is moving away from those portraits. Like even this, I don't know this person, I found an alternative model, and then I twisted it up. This was a set of bookmarks I did also. Very fleeting these were. This, which is now tattooed on my back. And these I did as Halloween cards.
Okay.
Because I do collages, cards, all sorts. What makes me happy? When I have the pleasure of seeing the individual receiving the portrait. Like I remember our landlord, they had lost their dog, and after a couple of months they got a new one. And I went into their profiles, I found their photos, and I joined them together. I did a portrait. It's a memorial portrait with their name, Cookie and Muffin. And that moment of pure happiness when they saw them, priceless, man. I love that. I embrace the artist's way of living, take everything with a pinch of salt, and trying to have a laugh while we're at it.